And on that note, let's kick off. So one of the big things, of course, is COVID. And you're going to want to know where we are with that and where we believe we are with fixtures, because the season's about to start. October the 3rd for the men's first team, women's first team, which will get Kim to update on everything women's and girls in a bit, starts on Sunday. So we really are getting to that point now where it's kicking off, and we need to understand what we're allowed and where we are in terms of what we think. And so Alex bravely agreed to give us a quick 5-minute update on the preparations for that and the latest that we're hearing from the National League, etc. Over to you, Alex.
Okay, cheers, Greg. So firstly, the club's obviously had to go through quite a bit lately with COVID and all the ways that impacts the club. So we've got a group set up, and it's a team effort. So Ian Ansell, club secretary, and Kim Costa have been helping to get everything in place for us. Simon Sutton has become our COVID officer. We were very lucky with medical officer, which is a requirement of the National League, that a local resident and practitioner, Catering Miles, has done that as a volunteer to our club. So we were very lucky with that. Claire Burnell, who's the club's child welfare and safeguarding officer, she's been doing an awful lot on paperwork and helping us with our risk assessments at the ground and the ground rules. So thanks to Claire. And the supporter society and the volunteers that we've had as a club to help us around the stadium, etc. These guys, without those guys, we can't start getting back to normal. And then to every fan that's wanting to come in the pre-season, the games we're having, for being patient and, you know, not putting too much pressure on the club, because we all appreciate that it's difficult when you come back to watch. Going forward, it's important that everyone continues to read the advice, and the ground rules. We'll publish those on Monday on the internet and social media, and they'll be up and around the club. General update, we've been working with the leagues, the FA, the councils, the trading standards to get everything in place down at the ground. It's a lot of work, but we've got to make sure as a club we do things the right way. Returning training protocols have now been submitted to the league, so we can. We've reached stage 3. There's 5 protocols to reach as a club. We're at stage 3. That's all been approved by the National League as well. Stage 4 we don't have to do as a club, and we're working on the stage 5 protocols. Some of our teams, though, can now have fans at the levels that they're playing at. So there is football that can be watched down at the club. So you're all welcome to come and enjoy that for now. As a club, we've had to do stadium capacity calculations. There's a lot going around now with the legislation, etc. That will change, I'm sure. But we're at the moment, we're working towards a ground capacity. There's 25-30% going around, etc. How it sits for the National League and as a club at the moment, we're working on capacity. Our ground can hold 1,050. And the latest guidelines are saying that we'll be allowed 1,000 fans in from the 1st of October as a club. So we can have 1,000 fans as it stands right now. Around the ground, we've had to put a lot in place. At the moment, if you go into the stands, they're now marked up. There's red dots and green dots. That's just an example of some of the procedures we're having to go through. Please, if you are at the ground for any occasion, only sit on the seats with the green dots. Sanitisers, walkways, we're putting in a system called Eve Pass. I'm not a guru on it, but we will be producing information on the website, etc., around the Eve Pass. And so we're hoping to have fans for the men's team in on the 3rd of October, which will be an FA Cup game. But as yet, we don't know if we're home and away or away that day. But there's plenty going on down at the ground where you can come and support other teams within the club. So please be advised of that. I'm sure Greg will update you on how you can get that information. As it stands, we'll come back on the 3rd of October. Season ticket holders will be given priority, which we, when the season tickets went out and the response the club has had to season tickets, as a club, we'd just like to thank you for that, because it's much appreciated and much needed at the club. But season ticket holders will get priority. And then anything else, hopefully we can get 1,000 in. They'll go on sale online, but everything has to, even season ticket holders, please log at the club if you are coming down to a game. Thanks for the patience of everyone. On Monday, we will send a lot of updates out for everyone to give you a bit more information. Please continue to read these guidelines, stick by them, because as a club, we need to do this both for guidelines that we're following, but also because it's for the good of everyone, isn't it? So thanks for your efforts so far. Thanks for everyone that's helping out, and hopefully we'll have you all back soon for a first team game.
Thanks.
Any questions, guys? If you leave them to the end, I'll try and answer them.
Well, I feel as though we ought to do a bit of role play because I'm not seeing any questions come up, but I'll ask some. Is that all right?
Go on then.
So I'm a season ticket holder. How do I make sure I get my ticket in that 1,000? I know you said you'll give us priority, but how do I make sure I get my ticket?
We will put up on the website. So there are procedures we need to finalise, Greg, but I would assume at the moment that when a game is on and it's published and we know it's on, if you can let us know within, I would say, 2 to 3 days, but like I say, we need to finalise that you are definitely going to attend. The website will give you the guidance, there's email addresses, there's a club number, etc. Let us know, book your seats, because we also have to allocate the seats and know what numbers, if you're coming in groups of 2 or 4 or 6, because we need to fit everyone that's coming into the seating plan.
Yeah, thank you. So we will pass out more information on that, and apologies for asking you that question. I'll try an easier one. So if you're not a season ticket holder, how do you get a ticket?
So once we've set the deadline where we would need to know from our season ticket holders, I would say they'll then go on general sale.
Okay. And will tickets be available on the gate?
I believe, Greg, that's a good question, but I think the guidance at the moment says it's really that you pre-book your tickets.
Yeah, so I think that's right. So I think it's either online if you're not a season ticket holder, or let us know if you are a season ticket holder. These aren't my questions anymore, by the way, mate, because they're starting to come in now. So don't think it's just me grilling you. Yeah.
Yeah.
No standing behind the goals? Question mark.
We have capacity behind the standing behind each of the goals. So yes, you can stand behind a goal. There'll be no switch over at half time to move down to the other end, unfortunately. But yes, there will be standing behind goals in groups at distance in line with guidelines. Okay.
I've kind of got you on the hook for all these questions here, Al. So I'll keep going on the ones that are relevant to tickets and the COVID start. What about away fans?
Sorry?
What about away fans? Will away fans be allowed?
I would suggest, and I'm hoping, maybe I'm too optimistic, that we will not have the capacity with the 1,000 that we've got to take away fans. The league guidance on it is that we need to provide up to, I believe, 30 off the top of my head, attendance from away clubs. And I believe that most of the clubs in the league won't be able to have away fans because of their own home allocation.
Okay. Rob Wisdom wants to know if he can sing vigorously.
Singing, I believe, guidelines not permitted when you're distant people. So no.
Okay. Did we manage to get some cash off the Premier League for the adjustments? Well, did we manage to get any cash from anybody for the adjustments?
There is a Football Foundation grant that the club applied for and have been successful in gaining. That's available to all the teams at the moment around the National League. It could be others, but I know that's true. No, it's available to all levels. It's just the amount of grant you get, sorry. So, yes, we have done that, and we have that in place to assist the club in putting into place, well, stuff we've already taken, like we've already put into, they'll assist with that going forward to a degree, yeah.
Okay. If we get drawn at home for the FA Cup, will we allow season tickets to apply? Or if not, how will that work, please?
Good question.
I know.
That hasn't been discussed at the moment. but there would be a couple of views around that. So I would say at the moment the consortium has not decided on that, so I can't answer that question right now.
Can season ticket holders choose where they go to sit or stand?
With the online systems that we're trying to put in place right now, yes, hopefully that will be okay, that we can allocate those prior to the game, that you can choose where you sit or stand.
One final question, then I'll let you off, mate. So what about away fans for FA Cup games? Is it the normal 15% allocation, or is it back to whatever the home club allows?
Very good question that I don't know the answer to be honest. But I take that and I will answer that by tomorrow.
Okay. And then there's a very technical question we might have to come back on, which is, if you're a season ticket holder and a friend isn't, if they're successful in getting a ticket, how can we be allocated seats sitting or standing together? I think that's...
Right, okay.
Ollie, that's a good question, because it's made him blush and hesitate.
All I will say is, to whoever asks that question, make sure you take a friend with you. And if he's successful in the protocols of how we get through, I will make sure that he gets a seat next to him, because that is an out of order question.
Well, I've got his name, Al, so we can have a word with him afterwards. Don't worry about that. Right,
Sure.
We'll move on from that. We'll come back to questions about COVID and tickets and stuff if there's any more. There are one or two questions about other things coming through anyway. But let's move on to progress on the second pitch, Dave, if I may. You need to come off mute, mate.
That's Andy. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Basically, I know you're following the progress online with Nicky Hayes' updates, but where we are at the moment, we've got the tarmac getting in. It's looking like we will have the pitch up and running, which I've told Nick when we start to use on the 6th. I think it's the 6th of October, I says to you, Nick. So it's around that 30. I'm sure that's the date I've got.
It is
for
that date.
Yeah, the pitch getting up and running. I think Slaughter's done a good job. Where we are as well, we're trying to basically look at the car parking space, as you know, where it basically comes off the road where it meets the pitch. Hopefully we should have it up and running hopefully the next 7 days. So we'll have allocated parking in there for ourselves. But regarding the pitch itself, it's all going on program, all going on cost, and I'm looking forward to get up and running. So there's not really much to say on it, Greg, to be honest with you.
I can ask you questions as well, though, Mr. McCartney.
Carry on.
So what about the clubhouse?
The clubhouse at the moment we're not going to be basically putting the clubhouse in place. We are looking at options. The biggest problem we've got at the moment, as you all know, is the parking. We're struggling for parking spaces. When the second pitch goes in, I know it's going to get even tighter. So we're looking at the option of maybe leaving the clubhouse, not putting the clubhouse up at that location, and extending the existing building to the rear of the existing building, putting changing rooms in there and more space for us. But the board's still talking about what the best option is. We are looking at 2 other options for car parking, but I don't want to go into too much detail about that at the moment.
No, so somebody has asked, car parking is obviously a big issue for us. I think you've just answered it, but it's probably worth stressing it a little bit. So beyond the 70 extra spaces, people are asking what the plans are. I mean, I know we can't say too much about it, Dave, because we're not too far along the line. We are exploring other options. Obviously, we've got the relationship with the cricket club that we want to keep going, because that offers us potentially some additional spaces. But there are another couple of options that we're pursuing. We realise it's been a frustration, certainly for local residents and for people visiting the facility and anybody trying to get down that blooming road. And it is going to get even busier, so we need to get as much of that cars and many of those cars off of the roads as possible, and we're working hard to achieve that. So more on that over coming weeks. We have got some ideas, and we are pursuing them.
I said regarding basically the cricket club, as you know, we've got a good relationship with them. It's just basically making sure that when we do basically use their facility, we respect it. We're having some issues with people going across their grass and things like that there, but we're looking at basically putting more stewards in place and more staffing out there to help ease the flow of the traffic and move them down the lane and give people more direction. But at the moment, we are trying our best to basically solve these problems. But we have a few options up our sleeve, which we can put in place in the next couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks.
All right, thanks, Dave. Nick Hutz, I don't know if you're on here, are you, sir?
I am indeed, yeah.
Good man. Is this the Frankfurt base we're phoning in from?
It is indeed, yeah.
So I wondered if, because a lot of people on this call won't have been down to the ground since the first pitch opened, never mind the plans for the second. I just wondered if you could kind of talk to people about, the take-up, the bookings, what it's like down there in the evenings and at weekends now, just to kind of paint a picture of it.
Sure, yeah. So it's the long and short is it's a pretty busy facility now, 7 days a week. So obviously, as I think the majority of people know, internally now across the boys, the girls, the men and the women, we're running about 50 teams this year. So all the internal 50 teams are either currently training on the main pitch or very shortly will commence training on the community pitch. We've also got quite a few external teams, some of the local children's clubs like Perry Street, Hutton, Hannekins, also using the facility. We've also got leisure leagues, six-a-side football league that use it on a Sunday evening and will start on a Monday evening once the community pitch is finished. It's a really good atmosphere over at the club, 7 days a week, to be honest. There's generally 4 different teams training every hour. A good atmosphere around the place, lots of parents, lots of children, spending lots of money over the bar, which is fantastic. But no, in general, it's just a really good environment. I think it's just a really nice place to hang out and watch football. On a Sunday now, perhaps some of you won't know, but for the boys and the girls, their seasons have already started. So different leagues sort of start in slightly different times, but all of the boys' teams, and I believe probably most of the girls' teams, have already started their league campaigns. So on a Sunday now, we'll have at least sort of 3 or 4 boys' teams and girls' women's teams playing at New Lodge. So it's pretty much back-to-back matches. Really high standard of football being played over there. So really enjoyable to watch all the games. You can easily spend 5 or 6 hours over there watching back-to-back matches. So just generally really good environment. Obviously on a Thursday afternoon or early morning, we have the walking football, which has just been. Sorry, it's really annoying. My son's trying to call me exactly as I'm speaking. So yeah, the walking football's starting, really taken off. Bill Sedgwick, who set that all up for us, I think has done a fantastic job. I know a lot of people, we're getting at least, at least 30 people every week. I think there was over 30 there again this morning, which is fantastic. And they're talking about playing some friendly fixtures, I think on a Monday morning, which will be great. So it's the facility's totally changed from being used, for the odd game a week to really being used 7 days a week, which is exactly what we hope for. But accepting Greg's point that we do acknowledge parking's a challenge. We do need to find, solutions, particularly as the second pitch comes on board. But that is something we're super focused on.
Okay, thanks, Nick. I'm just going to use you, and I'll answer some of these as well, just to catch up on some questions, so we can do these together. So, will there be a digital scoreboard installed in the ground, so that both sets of team supporters and officials can keep track of the time and current score? It's something we have talked about in terms of scoreboards. I think it's been talked about before. We haven't got a plan to do that at the moment. Let's get fans back in first. That's the priority before we start doing anything like that. But it's certainly a possibility for the future. I think Chris Mumford, you've got a clock that you're going to be displaying, haven't you? he's dropped off. But there, that is something that we can look at for the future. Chris also asked, which is why I was prompting him, will it be possible to live stream matches for those who can't get tickets? And the answer to that is that Ben and I are working on that. So I'm working on it. Ben's working on that, so that we should be able to have that facility. You can't normally live stream National League games because the league won't allow it, but they have actually relaxed that for the period of COVID. So if you can't get a ticket, we will be looking to live stream. And of course, we've got our wonderful gentleman doing the radio and doing a sterling job on that. And I think there was one more I was going to use for you. So appreciating that finance is an important element of any club, are the owners confident they can run the club with limited crowds? Dave, you can have that one.
Thanks very much. Basically, if we get the crowds in up to the 1,000, then we're pretty confident that we can run the clubs basically with the team we've picked, and with the 900 to 1,000 fans, there won't be an issue. We're very, very confident as a board that we'll get the support. We had the support already. You can see by the season tickets we've sold that people are on board and basically back in the community club we've got put together. But as I say, as long as the crowd's in, we're pretty confident that the club will run very, very well.
Okay, thank you. Somebody's asked about the option of running a park and ride service. We have thought about that. We've talked about it, but COVID restrictions wouldn't allow people to get into a minibus or whatever, unless there's just 6 at a time. So that's not really going to help us at this moment in time, but something we could consider for the future. People want to know why we've got a base in Frankfurt, Nick. If we've got a BTFC alliance going to Germany.
Not at the moment, but we're working on it.
What's the limit of numbers in the clubhouse? People are wanting to know. Alex,
Okay.
have you got any idea?
Yeah, inside the clubhouse at the moment, we have been running it initially at 45, but we can actually fit in 65 to 70 within the clubhouse at the moment, but obviously in line with the recent guidelines. Yeah.
Thank you. There's a question about, can we ensure the council get the street lighting working in Bluntswall Road as it's getting darker in the evenings, safety issue. We will have 2 sets of floodlights going in the near future, so that's going to help the lighting in that area considerably. You'll certainly spot us from space. So yes, but we are also talking to the council. In fact, I think, Nick, we've got a member of the council with us to talk to later this week, haven't we?
Well, he was coming on Saturday, but he actually let me know today that he can't make it, so he's coming in a couple of weeks' time. Okay,
well, in that case, we'll use that as a way of making him feel guilty that he's let us down. But talking to him about lighting is a good thing, good idea. Do you need your own AstroTurf shoes to rock up and play walking football? Yes, is the answer to that. So anybody using the pitch, I know there are exceptions, but we do want people to use AstroTurf shoes, please. It's another one for you, Nick, and then I will let you go. Are there any concerns with #United taking over Forest Glade?
None. It's very simple, none. I'm not concerned at all. We're just a much better run football club than #. Not concerned at all about them competing with us in either the girls or in the men's, or I'm sure Greg on the ladies' side as well, because they obviously did the partnership with Basildon women as well. So no, my personal view, for what it's worth, I think the brand's dying. I think the kids are moving away from watching YouTube. They now watch TikTok. So yeah, I'm not concerned about them at all. We're a proper football club, so
I'd go along with that. But also from the women's perspective, and I'm stealing your thunder here, Kim, but I saw you stick your thumb up. We're actually playing #a week next Wednesday at the ground. Fans, this is an advert I'm doing here. Fans will be allowed. Any news on the mural? Yes. So Glenn is gone. Glenn is not on there anymore. There is no bedroom scene. It's not quite finished, but the removal of of any unsuitable or elements that people didn't like has completed. So when you do get into the ground, you'll be able to go and see that. So that's quite good. Let's go back to the script then, and I don't know if I know we haven't got Jamie, but Dave, Alex, just a quick first team update. And one of the questions that we've been asked is, has Alan Julian officially left the club? So it's a delicate one to answer, but I'm going to let you two guys have a wrestle with it.
Well, Alan basically is still a player of Billericay on basically on forms, but he isn't going to be playing for us next season. He'll be basically looking at leaving the club at the end of this year month. That's where we are with Alan. Basically, he wanted to move on to get closer to basically home, and so he's looking to basically he is training with the club at the moment over the other side of London, which he's looking to sign for. That's where he is, Alan.
Okay, and squad-wise, we're pretty settled now in terms of permanent signings.
Yes, basically, I think we've done a very good job in the transfer window where we are. We've got some very, very good players. I'm just looking at the squad now through them. There's still one or two more additionals we're looking at with Jamie, just to basically beef the squad up. But I think we're near enough there, to be fair, Greg. I don't think there's basically anything to say about who's anybody else basically moving on. But I think our squad's pretty settled, ready for the season. And the squad we've got, I really do think we'll give it a good bash.
Okay, and maybe an exciting loan or two?
Well, I think so. Basically, Jamie's still talking to one or two, basically from the bigger clubs like QPR, people like that there who we're working very closely with. But there's a few names going around, but we can't really say at the moment until we get them on board. Okay.
Have we got any more friendlies arranged?
Yeah, we've got Maidstone coming up. Is that on the 20?
On Saturday.
Is that this Saturday, is it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
No, I thought it was a Saturday after. You've got Maidstone coming up, and I think that's the final one, major one we've got. I think we're playing our under-23s as an internal game, and basically that's the two last games.
Okie dokie. I mean, I must admit, as a fan and a kind of somebody who's actually had the pleasure of watching them train, I've been allowed to do that, and I've seen a friendly. So, I think it's coming together really well. I've been impressed with them. The win against Boreham Wood, I thought we were excellent, really excellent. So, I think that when we can get you all back, it could be an exciting season. Watch us get relegated now, I've said that. But I do honestly think this is a good squad. I think you said it as well, Dave, didn't you?
Yeah, I think so. I think the squad's a very, very good squad. I think Jamie's done not just saying this year, but had to do a lot of changes, as you know, with signing a lot of players in a short period. And we haven't rushed into it. We've picked the right players, we think, for the Billericay and Huzzes who wants to be a part of the club. The people who've come on board for money over the last few years are not here no more. They're basically people who really want to play for the club. If you look at basically the Boreham Wood game, which I watched myself, Boreham Wood are a good, well-established club. They've got some good players. They didn't bring youth down. They brought, I think it was 9 of their first team players played against us. So beating a team like that there, I think it basically shows us where we're going and what we can achieve.
Okay. Has
Dion signed for us?
Sorry, go on. Sorry, Nick.
I was just going to say, Greg, anecdotally, I saw yesterday that the bookmakers have us as 5th favourites for the league.
Mm. Well, that's worth us all lumping on, as Glenn Tamplin would say. I would thought that would have been something we'd all be wanting to get involved in. I think Rich has asked, has Dion signed for as the goalkeeper?
Alex, where are we with that, mate? With Dion? I'm looking on my list.
We're still sitting with Dion at the moment, and there's other options in the goalkeeping front, but that's down to Jamie and Paul to decide, and that'll be over the next few days.
Okay. Thanks. Thank you very much. Thanks, Dave. Just picking off another couple of questions. Jason Symes, any plans for a football session for under 5s? Yeah. So we certainly are going to be looking to introduce more age groups into. There is a soccer school. I think that starts at under 7s, Nick, doesn't it?
No, it actually starts at 5.
Oh God! Don't tell him that, because the reason he's asking that is he wants to negotiate for his daughter to start playing. He wants to act as her agent, but yeah, I think so. We are looking to cater for all age groups, and as Nick said, I think that soccer school, which is mixed, isn't it? We haven't got as many girls there as we'd like, but
It is mixed. You're right, Greg. We're trying to get more girls, but it's for the youngest age groups. It's on a Saturday, 9 till 10 o'clock.
Okay, thank you. Has the Harry Parker stand? I think you'll find that's the Glenn Tamplin stand for whoever wrote that. Got any new business associated or any new businesses associated to it yet? So it's probably worth Dave talking about what we're going to do for that stand in terms of naming it after Glenn and what people can expect to see, and maybe a little bit Dave and Nick on the commercials.
Okay, basically regarding the name of the stand, I know we talked about it before, and there was a bit of a reaction back saying that some fans weren't happy with it, but I did say previously before this that it's an agreement that I had with Glenn when the takeover was done. We're planning on putting a name, a little plaque, more not a plaque, more of a board at the back of the stand, not on the front of it at the top, but at the back of the stand. We're talking about putting basically the Glenn Tamplin stand there. That they're all basically stick to the agreement that I'd done with Glenn at the time. So I know some people aren't happy with that, but it's something we have to move forward with. That's where we're going with it.
And commercially, it's in terms of other businesses and putting boards up and stuff, we're working on that. It's tough times out there for a lot of companies, and we have to recognise that, because not everybody's come through COVID in a good way in terms of businesses. So, it's a harder sell maybe, but we have got people who are both renewing and some potential new companies that are coming on board as well. So you'll start to see different boards around the ground when you do come back in, hopefully from the start of October. Quick question, Kim, which is probably one for you, if I may, which is, when will season tickets be sent out?
People that have actually purchased season tickets that we've actually had in from Kaizen, that have actually paid for them to be sent out by first class, signed for, have already been gone out. So we still actually have probably about 50 still to be collected from supporters. So whoever has actually put that through, if they want to make contact with me tomorrow, then I can actually have a look to see if the season ticket is in.
Okay, thank you, Kim. Is Rob Dowman with us now? Rich, can you see that?
I'm here, Greg.
You are? Good man. Because somebody's asking.
I'm here. I'm in my car. I'm here.
Blimey. We'll give this a go. So people are asking about the under 23 squad and the under 18s, Rob. If you could give a quick update on where they are, how they've started.
Of course. I would actually point some guys towards a podcast that I did with the Lucky Town Radio guys, which will give you some pretty extensive background on
how we came about forming the respective sides, where players are, typically emanating from, etc., etc. But yeah, both teams have the 23s have started their league season. In short, 2 games so far, lost 1, won 1. The easiest thing we could have done is, go and pick up some guys in their mid-20s, and wouldn't be difficult to attract some journeymen to the club and do very well. But we've opted not to do that, because ultimately, as I've said before, the reason for creating these sides was, the ultimate benefit for the football club. So, we've started with younger guys, with the hope that in the next season or 2, we'll see some breaking through to the first team. You may have read we've had a lot of success. Jamie's been very supportive in giving, 4 or 5, guys a chance. We've currently got another 17-year-old guy training with the first team this evening. So, we're ahead of schedule in that regard. To give you an idea, in the under-23s team that won away to Takeley in the league last Saturday, there were 8 under-18s in that side. And as I believe I've mentioned before, the under-23 limitation is something we've applied. They are playing in a men's league with no age limitation. So, it's been an eye-opener for them. They were beaten 4-2 in the first game, and probably had 70% of the ball. So it was, it was a real learning experience for them. These are really talented kids, if you like, and they haven't lost many games. So that's part of their learning process as well. The under-18s, I'm sort of doing this backwards. The under-18s league season started last week. They got off to a very good start. They had a tough start, Basildon United away, which they ran out 3-1 winners. Another really tough game this week against Concord, who historically have always been strong in that age group. And they've got an FA Youth Cup game approaching next week, I believe that is. And I believe, and Alex will have to help me here, but I believe supporters can attend that game. So I'd really encourage everyone to come down and try and get an affinity with the young players at the club. They're a really talented group, and hopefully you can see some of them progress. We're working on getting an online squad announcement process. So, as I say, hopefully supporters can get familiar with the boys and get some affinity as well.
Yeah, Rob, we'll get tickets on sale, but yes, they can come next. It's Thursday week today. Supporters can come.
Brilliant. Thanks, Alex. Rob, one or two people are a bit concerned that you're out on nighttime manoeuvres there because it looks very dark in the back of that car. You're not about to go and rob somewhere, are you? Maybe he is. Maybe he's just putting his balaclava.
Sorry, I've lost you there. What was that, Greg?
I was just saying, it looks like you're about to go and break in somewhere.
I've actually pulled up on my driveway. You got me 2 minutes early, so I was hoping I could make the house. But now I've been called out, I will do.
All right. Thanks, Rob. Okay, over to you, Kim. A question first, if I may, which is about have we got kids' kits on sale for when the schools are happening? Need these kits in a proper kids' side and not the Premier League rubbish, apparently it says. I do think the point is that you get lots of kids wearing Premier League shirts and we want them in Billericay shirts. So have we got kids' kits on sale now?
Yeah, we definitely have. I think we all know that most of the manufacturers are all struggling with supplying kits due to COVID. But we do actually have stock, which has been going really well through the shop and also via online. We've got loads more orders, just waiting for Puma to actually supply the stock to us. But personally, I think we've got a really good selection of merchandise in the shop at the moment, and we will continue stocking up when we can, obviously when Puma can support the stock coming into us.
Okay, brilliant, thank you. So on to the women's and girls section, and a quick update as we start getting to league action, Kim.
We do. I think most people that have actually taken interest in the women's section have known that we've been on a bit of a journey where we've actually been putting in place a pathway. So there's a complete pathway for the young girls to actually aspire to actually get through to the further age groups. We've been successful in the recruitment, so we've now got 7 under-16 female teams and 3 senior teams. Throughout the pre-season, the 3 senior teams have done pretty well, in my opinion, and they start their seasons on Sunday, and we're all sort of like pretty confident that we're going to actually get off to winning ways on Sunday, which is good for everybody. For the first team, in the way of recruitment, those that know as well, is that we do actually have quite a strong team. So what we wanted to do is just add some depth. So we've been successful in recruiting 5 or 6 players just to actually add depth to that team. Welcome Sam back from Crawley. We've got some young players from Charlton under 23 and from Spurs. We've been successful in actually getting the best of Essex RTC coming to us as well. So for all 3 senior teams, the recruitment has actually been extremely good. And we're all looking positive to the start of the season across all the teams. So yeah, it's looking positive, Greg.
Good. And people are saying, now you're not actually in full-time management, but looking after the pathway, you can relax a bit more. Is that right?
For those that have actually been down the club, know that that's not the case. Obviously, with the growth of the main club as well, which is where I spend a lot of my time doing the operations role, it's been extremely busy because those that know me as well know that I like to do things right. So we make sure that we've got things in place. So yeah, it's been really busy, but I can't wait to see, and you as well, Greg, are going to be coming out to see some of the younger teams play. And that's what I'm really going to look forward to. By us actually being out present, hopefully we will see the strength and depth of the players across all the age groups. And we can continue that journey to retain them and ensure that they're aware that they're actually part of a bigger family than just sort of like just one team.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks, Kim. Mr. Dowman, you need to change your security code because you've just shown about 100 people what that is. We've got the first 3 numbers. We're not all sure about the last digit, but we could always just work them through, I think. On to update about the Colts. Nick, where are we? I've seen a lot of them, actually. We've got some good kids, both girls and boys.
Yeah, we have some really good players, good teams. But we're not all about that in the Colts. I mean, we run teams at different abilities. We try to run 3 or 4 teams at each age group so that we can cater for boys of different abilities. But yeah, the season, as I mentioned earlier, started for the boys a couple of weeks ago. So most teams now have played a couple of competitive matches. Which has been great to see. So, Dunton, Duke's Head has been really busy. And obviously the stadium as well with the boys 11-a-side football, a lot of which is being played on a Sunday, as you've seen, Greg. So, yeah, things going really well. I think the start of the season caught us a little bit by surprise. I think we all thought we had a bit more time to prepare, and then all of a sudden it was sort of on top of us and started. So no, everything going really well. Everybody, I would say, everyone in here, I think, knows that I've been associated with the Colts for a number of years, and I think, one of the reasons that I got involved in the consortium was to properly integrate the Colts with the rest of the club. Previously, a lot of people felt that we played under the same club name, but were largely separate. I think with the changes that have been made at the club, I think everybody at Colts just really enjoying feeling part of the football club, being around the football club. Obviously, we hope to, when possible, to convert them to spectators and coming along to watch the men's and the women's matches. But no, everything's going really well.
Thanks, Nick. I mean, one of the things I've really enjoyed is that you can actually lose entire weekends, just ask my wife, by going down on a Saturday and Sunday and watching all the different games and the different age groups and boys and girls. And some of that football is so competitive. Little kids just getting stuck in. I've forgotten exactly what that was like, but they're really competitive matches. Okay, Tracy, you've asked for the games we're able to come and watch. Can we pay on the gate, or do we need to pre-arrange? Do need to pre-arrange, I'm afraid. So if wherever possible, get a ticket online or register for Eve Pass as well. That would be good. Thank you. On to catering, always an important topic. Alex, so people are asking, Alex Orchid, what are the plans for catering next year? Several buildings, bars seem to underutilised last season.
Okay, so at the moment, catering's, it's difficult to know with the plans for catering when it comes to how many fans are going to be allowed in, etc. How do we cater for that? how many of the huts are we going to have to open up, etc., etc. So for the moment, we are catering at the weekends, every weekend. We'll be doing that as well. We've been trialling that on a Monday, Wednesday and Friday down the club. When it comes to different varieties of catering, we are looking into that, but it depends on where we're going forward and the numbers we can have in the ground.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, we may end up with Conch's pie and mash down there. But if not, I recommend a Nick Hutt sandwich, which is the bacon and mushroom, particularly good.
It is good, I have to say.
It is good, yeah. So with Jamie's link to Sky, can we hope for a visit from them this season? I think they've been down, haven't they?
Yeah, we've had one visit so far. But yeah, going forward, hopefully they'll use us as a club that can show how everything's affecting non-league football. But I think it's more down to how the team does and the club as a club. And if Sky come down, that's great. If not, then we continue on with what we're doing.
Yeah, people are also asking if there's any chance of Alan Brazil and Ali McCoist coming down because of the Talk Sport link. I think he has managed to get them both to say they'll pay us a visit, which should be good for bar takings. But we don't know if they're coming down yet. I mean, we've had Rod Stewart recently. You know, we're full of celebs, but we'll see if they do turn up. And of course, the question then was, could we have a fundraiser? At the moment, of course, we're limited to what we can do COVID-wise, but yeah, fundraisers and events and darts teams and all kinds of things are on the agenda for when we can open this up a little bit more and the rule of six isn't around. So watch this space. Just echoing something that we all want to do, Kim, because I've seen that you've put that in there. You know, we talked about the supporter society, but there's probably a few shout outs that we should do just from people who've really been helping us with the traffic management when we've had this car parking scenario, and also with track and trace. So John, the two Johns, in fact, Howard, Linda, I'm reading this, Trevor, Kay, and I've got to move over a bit, Rob and Caroline. That's got it. Thank you for those people that are on here, because it's been a godsend. It's not an easy thing to do. Question, Nick, about commercial sponsorship and whether we've approached Fairfield, who have opened their new dealership.
I can't remember if we have or not, but it's a great idea. Just to pick up on that, we are making steady progress on the commercial side. It is difficult, as we mentioned last Fans Forum. If people do have suggestions or they know companies that might be interested, please just connect us with them. We're happy to take things forward. But we're making good progress. But as you said earlier, Greg, it's a difficult time to be asking companies to spend money on sponsorship and advertising. And of course, they have concerns about when supporters will be allowed back into the ground as well. But we are making good progress. And great idea. We'll follow up on that.
Thank you. There's a question here that just says outside bar, ? Kim? You missed that, didn't you?
No, sorry, I was just actually putting my socks on because my feet are cold. I think the question was about outside bar. So
yeah, are we going to have outside bars for matches?
Yeah, again, I think it's just in liaison with what Alex has actually said. It is all about sort of like the social distance and stuff like that. So we want to be able to open as much as we possibly can within the FA guidelines. So just supporting what Alex has actually said in the past. The plan is to do so, but when we can.
Okay, thanks, Kim. There's a question, Alex, about the lease with Basildon Council. So have we got it? How long is it for? That kind of thing. Has it been held up by furloughing of staff at Basildon Council is the question.
Yeah, no, we're when it comes to the lease with the council, we've worked together for the last 9 or so months. Obviously, COVID's had an impact. Everything we were working together and we have no issue with the lease will be renewed. The league are involved obviously as well, and yeah, there's no issues with it. There's one final thing they want, and I'm actually meeting them next week on site. So yeah, the lease will be renewed. The council want it renewed. They're very on board with the what's happening down at the club. So there'll be news within the next 2 weeks, but it will be closed up soon and there are no issues, Greg.
Okay, thank you. So that's it in terms of, I think we've done all the questions that we've had in. I know Conch and Jamie were due to join us, but there's half an hour to go before that. But if anybody's got any other questions, stick them in the chat or come off mute and ask them there. Any questions, folks? Comments?
Things we've got to hang around for 35 minutes for Jamie to get in.
Well, he's not worth it, is my point, James. You know,
But then there's that time you've got a manager in that was worth it.
Sorry, mate.
Then you need to get a manager in that is worth it.
Alex was saying about, obviously, if we can get back into the ground, we can't change ends, but can we use the clubhouse? Or once you're in the ground in your space, you've got to stay where you are?
Alex?
Okay. Yeah, we're working on that. We've got a meeting next week with the SAG group, which is Trading Standards. There will be walkways. There will be certain restrictions. There will be people were talking earlier about as season ticket holders, can we sit in a certain part if we want to? It may be that if you want to use the bar area, you may need to sit in a certain part or stand in a certain part. The food huts will be open. The bottle bar down the back will be open and we can get draft down there. There's an awful lot going on. I can't finalise the question, but all I can say is as a club, we are working to make sure that we can give you guys everything you want and need.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
Is it an idea to do what they do at theatres for the interval, where obviously there's a big rush on the bar, where you can put your order in and they can be put on the bar and you collect them rather swiftly and move out again? Because then you could keep the cash registers ringing longer on the bar.
There I was, Rob, thinking you were going to ask about usherettes and ice creams, and you went for beer instead.
Oh yeah, that was my next one.
Okay, so
idea.
We're currently working as a club with some suppliers to see if we can do an online ordering system as well while you're in the ground. We are thinking about exactly those crunch times as a club when, you know, half time comes along and et cetera, et cetera. We will put as much as we can. It might not be perfect, but we will put in place as much as we can to make it easier for everyone to make sure everything's accommodated for.
Yeah, okay. There's also at festivals you get a guy walking around with beer on his back and he tops people up as he walks around. That's another way, isn't it?
Yeah, we are also looking into that. We actually have two of those at the club already, and if we need to get more, we will.
And he'd be in my bubble.
We were hoping you could be one of the people that was taking it round, Rich.
Rich doesn't take his own drinks in trouble.
Volunteers always welcome for that, by the way, guys.
Those two bear things were out about 3 years ago.
Yeah,
and it worked quite well, you know, especially coming up to half time. So yeah, it worked. I don't know how clean they were, but
well, and that's the issue. So it was, I mean, all these ideas we're looking at, we've actually got to make sure that they're COVID secure as well, of course. So you know, but you know, I think what Alex said is we're exploring everything we can. We'll try and make it as pleasant as possible, and increasingly so as we go through the season, because we'll learn from those first few games, undoubtedly.
So, Greg, just before we move on, you know, somebody asked about the lighting down the lane area. The same applies to the overhanging bushes on the old NHS building, because that they actually come out onto the path. So.
Yeah, that's a good point. In fact, I'll make a note of that, because I had noticed that myself but forgotten to do anything. We are talking to them because they're going through a bit of a rebuild, as you've probably noticed. There's construction work happening there. They're building a prosthetics ward and workshop. So that's what the construction work is.
That'd be handy next to a football club.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
if there's a lot of beer behind a goal, someone might get legless, mightn't they?
Oh, I want to do a joke about giving us a hand, but I'm not going to do it. But we are talking to them about car parking and using some of their facilities. So I will mention those trees because they are a bit of a nuisance, aren't they? Okay, a couple of questions coming in. Will goalposts and match ball, etc., need to be sanitised during matches as per the Premier League?
Haven't they already started doing that down there?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's no full guidance on that, but we already actually have sprayers in place, etc., to clean down the goals, dugouts, etc. So we've already got that in place.
Okay. What are the plans for behind each goal with the Wolves fencing currently open? Can we keep them open, as it would be easy to get on the pitch when we score a last-minute winner?
They'll be closed by the end of next week.
Yeah. Yeah. So people are still going to have to do some climbing. Are there any plans of using reusable plastic cup trials like Premier League clubs have done in the past? Saves money on buying single-use plastic cups. In fact, I think Jen was talking about that, Alex, wasn't she?
Yeah, we've looked into that and we've got something in place as and when that's the time to do that.
Okay, thank you. Chris Mumford, the pitch needs sprinklers. Will these be installed? This is for the walking football community, Chris, I'm guessing. We're not installing sprinklers, but we are watering the pitch from time to time.
Yeah, this week we've bought a few sprinklers, etc., to deal with that, and we're looking into a machine that can go on the back of the tractor that can water the pitch as and when we need it.
Let's face it, if we get half as much rain as we did last season, sprinklers are the last thing we're going to have to worry about.
I can't believe we're asking about putting water on the fucking pitch.
It's kind of ironic, Joe, isn't it?
Oh, Christ.
Hi, Greg. Jason here.
Hello, Jason.
Just, are we doing a test event prior to the season where, one of our friendlies, will we be doing a test event within that?
So we started with the women's match actually last Sunday. It was a test of some of those things like Eve Pass and our ability to do that. I think, Alex, it depends on friendlies and what we're allowed to do. You've probably seen the EFL, some of the teams have been allowed 1,000 people from this weekend as tests. And in fact, some of them have said no because they're not ready for it. It depends what friendlies we have and where we are in terms of NFL sign-off, to be honest. But we are using the women's games where we're allowed up to 600 fans to just test the spacing and the bars, and it'll ramp up from there. But that's all we can do at this moment in time.
Yeah, there's two different things you need to go through. So you've got the local trading standards called SAG, which we're dealing with. In terms of having a men's first team game at the ground, the National League were looking at holding some test events for certain games, pre-season friendlies. That hasn't happened so far. But from the National League, we're still looking to go on the 1st of October. From then we can go to the 3rd of October will be the first game. But we're lucky that we can trial things out with having other teams around the club that can play now.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for the update, Greg. And obviously, having been at that game Sunday, it's very well organised, and I could see it's going to work for the men's going forward with that little bit more capacity as well.
Thanks, mate. Has the PA system been upgraded, Al? I think that's
not
a no.
But we have had quotes in. It's mainly the opposite side and behind the goals. So we've got quotes in. So we all need to look at that and decide that, there's a lot of things going on at everybody, by the way, and fair play to the owners. So we've just got to move things around as and when we can. And but we acknowledge that it isn't great, and we will be looking at doing that as soon as we can.
Thank you. So that's end of the questions at the moment on the group chat. Anybody got anything else they want to ask?
Greg, is it worth? I mean, I know it was on Twitter, but is it worth telling everybody about the big clean that was done last week?
Yeah. So there was a big clean done last week. No, our good partners and a business that we've got a good relationship with, Bowers, offered to do a big clean, and you probably saw some of the photos that Nicky Hayes put up. But it was very thorough, more thorough than I expected. There was decontamination units. They sprayed everything, cleaned everything down. It is ultra clean as far as anything could be now. And they even did Mr. Hayes and his media suite. So, you can't go any further than that, really.
Didn't they have to do a deep clean after Braintree Town came down?
Did they get rid of those Dulwich stickers?
Yeah, I think they did, yeah.
And more than a deep clean for them bloody things.
But, the ground will be in good shape. So we've already talked about the mural. Obviously, the walls behind the goals. I mean, the pitch looks fantastic. The new badges going up. We've got all the replacement for those to go up. So a big exercise, but it should be ready for you all to return, COVID allowing. So looking forward to getting
Greg, will you need a sort of weekend where you need supporters to come down and chip in to do, I don't know, help out with whatever for maintenance wise, or?
I don't think so at the moment, unless any of the other guys correct me, Joe. I mean, it's always appreciated that you folks are there, because you never know what's going to happen with a football club, as you know. But we've had the summer. I mean, obviously a lot of work's been going on, but some of that work has been through an army of volunteers, and particularly people associated with the Colts. We've discovered that we've got all trades. I think Peter's waving at me now. Are you one of those tradesmen, Peter? No? You're on mute, sir, so I can only see you shaking and waving. Do you want to come off mute?
But anyway, so the BTFC supporters, all you need to do is get in touch with them and they'll put out the word, and we're down. If
really appreciate it. Oh, hello, Caroline.
Hello, am I allowed to just answer as well? Because I know if you're a BTSS member, we sent an email out just saying if you were willing to volunteer for that kind of thing, Joe. And I think when we spoke with Chris McCartney about new advertising boards needing to be put up, they're the kinds of things where perhaps a working party of supporters, if you're available, everyone, would be much appreciated. So if you are able to volunteer, and Kim, correct me if I'm wrong, is it okay for people to still email into the info account and just to give you their contact details as well? Is that still okay?
Yeah, I think that was actually put on your email that went out to everybody, wasn't it?
Yeah,
so
to our
I think we
members,
agreed that before it actually went out. So I think it's key that we do get sort of like details of volunteers, of people that want to help, and then we can actually have a base where we can actually call upon people.
Yeah. And so that goes directly through Kim and through Chris, so you've got the numbers and the people you need immediately as well. So yeah, if that's okay. Sorry interrupting everyone. I'll mute myself again, you'll be pleased to know. But thank you. If you're available, thank you.
Thanks, Caroline. And Joe, it may not be a particular weekend, but there's a whole load of stuff that we're going to need to have done this season, as we've already talked about. Volunteers and people to help out with social distancing, and just it takes a lot more to run the club to these regulations than it ever has. And so we are always looking for people, but Caroline and Kim are the people, and Chris McCartney, that we need to be talking to. Okay. Any other questions, folks? We're now at, we should have Jamie and Conch in about 23 minutes. So we can keep talking. We can keep this live. If people want to go and have a comfort break, please do. I'll stay around. We'll answer any other questions. But if people want to disappear and come back at past, we can talk to the guys. Is that all right?
We always have to talk about bloody football. Oh, God.
I know.
Someone put a question up earlier on. If we are away, say in the FA Cup, and we can't go if it's another National League side, or away in the league about. I know before we've done the radio back to the ground, or if they're going to be able to stream it. What's the plans in place of if we can only have 60 to 70 people, or is it going to be just like rotating around as season ticket holders, or how are we going to decide for what 60s? Because I mean, there could be 60, 70 people interested in going to the club for the afternoon, you know?
Yeah, no, there could be. So we haven't actually had confirmed, to my knowledge anyway, what the rules will be for away fans for the FA Cup. So whether they'll be the same, and as Alex said earlier on, for the league games, it's up to the home club to decide how many tickets can be allocated to the away fans.
Yeah,
I'd have thought it. Sorry, you know, I get your point. So, you know, I think once we know how many it is, obviously season ticket holders first, and those that will travel away, we may well use the Supporter Society to help us with that as well. But we'll make it as fair as possible. We haven't decided how to do that, but we will definitely put on something in the club for those that can't go, in terms of certainly the radio commentary, but hopefully being able to beam it back into the clubhouse, because that's a good idea. We'll do whatever we can, basically.
Yeah, as it sits at the moment, Rich, it's with the home clubs, like Greg was saying. We're already looking potentially at streaming games. If there's over 1,000, or if we can only have 200, who knows? So I think the league have said normally we're not allowed to stream games due to the BT thing with National League, but the National League South and North can stream their games. I would guess that will be with the home club to decide, and every home club will stream their games, and if they don't, they'll let us in. But we'll do everything as a club to make sure all you guys can see as much of the action as you can.
Yeah. Has that stream, like from the National League, is it the club choose who they want to use and then charge as such, or is it going to be like a generic like National League stream?
No, it's club by club thing. So when we're streaming it, it'd be Ben.
Right. Yeah.
Individual clubs are allowed to stream their own games. The league have offered the platform we can all go through, or the club can do it as a club. And yes, obviously a club can charge. How that works out, etc., we're not sure yet, mate, because we're just busy having everyone back at the club. But we do have Plan B in place as a club, and we will deal with it for you all.
Cool. Okay, thank you. Ben, having mentioned it, just wanted me to mention, and Richard's been working on this as well. You'll see on the website now that there's a fixtures calendar. It's really good for finding out what teams are playing, or if, like me, you want to spend your entire Sunday down there at the ground, you can see who's going to be playing and what time and stuff. So a lot of effort going into that. Still need to add more fixtures from all of the 50 teams, but the main senior teams are there, and we'll be adding more and more to that over the coming weeks. So good source of information if you want to know where you can go and get a football fix. Just for Ben, a bit of feedback. BTFC Twitter is first class nowadays. Credit to Ben for that, and also to James and Rich for the backup statements and stuff they do on the website, because we are, I think, very good at the moment at trying to keep people as informed as we possibly can, and they do all the work on that. Final thing from me is a thank you to our Residents Association, who are a good partner these days, and the work that they're doing to help us get the message out to residents. For those people in Billericay, you'll notice that on the notice boards now, there's a start of a poster that says the fixtures are coming. That'll be changed on a regular basis to reflect the weekend's fixtures, just to get that message out there even further. And it's a good, strong relationship with our friends at the Residents Association. I know that they are looking for people to actively get involved. So if you're in the Billericay area, want to get involved with them and the work that they do on stopping some of the property plays that are happening in town and representing you to the council, etc., then please get in touch with me and I'll pass your details on. That's it. Anybody got anything else before we have a bit of a comfort break?
Sorry, Greg, just one more thing. You're probably busting for a wee, everyone, but is there any news on this potential Ebbsfleet not being relegated now because of what happens at Macclesfield? I don't know if anyone's seen that.
No, it's a good question. So I saw that Macclesfield had been punished. I don't know what the knock-on effect of that is. I don't know if anything's come through the National League to us, as it, Alex?
No, we've had no communication from the National League on that so far, Greg.
I mean, we do get a lot of communication from the National League, believe me. Most of it doesn't make sense. But no, I've not heard anything on that.
Thank you.
Anybody else? If not, we'll have a quick comfort break of, it's at about 15 minutes now. And for those who want to listen to Jamie and Conch and ask them questions, stay on, go and come back at 8:30 and we'll resume then. Thank you very much. Thanks, folks.
You going to the bar?
Yeah. What's everybody won?
Cider.
Okay.
Is the Shetland Big Rough Child there available yet?
Silly question, Greg.
You still drinking, Joe, or you calmed it down since you was poorly?
I can't write down now. So 4 times a week.
The same amount of booze, but in less days.
3 of those are on Saturdays.
You're looking well anyway.
Oh, good, mate. Oh, good. Yeah.
Good to hear.
I've been down the club a few times. Obviously, not able to watch the games, but it's in the clubhouse with the lads. And yeah, it's good. It's good. We'll be back in the game.
Yeah, agreed. Did you go down to the away game we had against Grays? At Averley it was, but against Grays.
Yeah, I went down to the Averley one. Yeah.
Messing up yeah.
I actually went down with Reverend Bott.
Oh, did you?
I think his dad's on here, Bruce. That was quite entertaining. I don't know which was more entertaining, the football or the journey down. So good. It was good to get to an away game as well, actually.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. It was well organised as well, I thought.
Yeah. But yeah, and obviously, looking at the club, Jan came down for a very rare visit to BTFC on Saturday and brought her down to look at the bottom pitch. And she was blown away by how much they've done, and even since then they've done a lot. But yeah, she was couldn't believe the changes that have happened. So, it's fantastic.
Jan should come down a lot more and leave you out.
When you walk around the club, the whole club, you just pinch yourself and think, is this really all club? Yeah,
even the pitch, having that nice new pitch has made it, giving it a different feel, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Feels more colourful down there.
Well, we're very lucky, and consider how insecure we were feeling towards the end with Glenn. The lads have obviously put in a lot of effort and made it a good place.
And the team look good, by the way. Team look good, don't they? We can give Jamie a hard time in a minute. Team look good.
I can't believe they signed that guy, Joe. He's awful.
About the name.
Yeah, they got some good players. Good proper non-league players this year.
Yeah, Rich, nice to see the baby.
Did you want to speak?
A little wave.
Oh, sorry. trying to get her to sleep, but we should keep hearing your voice, Joe.
Well, that's a nice change from yours then, eh, mate?
Joe Lane, Jimmy. Yeah, you want to speak to him?
James might have a
Hello,
story.
James.
Hey, Brenda.
He's full.
What rubbish you?
What you got to say, Brenda?
You're on. Yeah, I'm on. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. You've had your say, Jace. You got any more on the agenda?
Nothing more from me. I'm taking your limelight.
It looks like Richard's babysitting for the night.
Yeah, Danny's next to me.
Yeah. You love it, don't you? Oh, there she is. Yeah, don't leave him alone with that baby.
You eat it.
Look.
Hey, friends.
How's Joe? All right?
All good, mate.
Yeah, you look good. Against that flag, you couldn't be better, yeah.
Exactly.
Have your head put in the middle of that flag instead of the ship, yeah. Yeah. Like that.
Was that the ship or the shit?
Yeah. It's a good meeting tonight, though. Good.
Yeah.
Very informative, yeah.
Yeah, they're a pleasure to be at, and
yeah,
the lads don't shy away, do they?
Yeah, that parking's always a problem, though, isn't it? Over the years, that stopped us developing over the years. They've always used that as a reason to stop us doing it because we didn't have the capacity to let traffic come and go, or even pedestrians, you know. Yeah.
Well, the reason why I drove
down the bottom, taking everyone's wing mirrors off.
Yeah. That's just your driving.
Yeah. I'll disown you. I'll tell you.
I was just taking this though.
Yeah.
Just while we're waiting, somebody did ask a question about how many season tickets we sold. I think it was about 330 at the moment.
Oh, good.
Right, when I first went down there 12 years ago, they'd sold 4.
Yeah.
Is it your charisma, James? Is your charisma then, is it?
Is that what you reckon it is? I'll go with that. They, at the time, when in 2012, the season tickets were £4 more expensive than Bayern Munich's.
Well, that's why it was 4, mate.
Better standard of football, though.
Was that a record season ticket? Is that record season tickets? I think Ben just put, Greg.
Yeah,
Is that right?
It is.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think it's. I think last year was just under 300. So 330, and hopefully we might get the odd one or two more, particularly once we start playing and people see how good Jamie's team is.
He's done a job, hasn't he?
Is it worth pushing that again, doing a bit of a drive before October?
Yeah, I think it is. I think I think some people quite rightly didn't buy a season ticket. I say quite rightly because we wanted them to, but the nervousness about when fans would be allowed back, when the season might start. It's only recently that we've had the fixtures, so I think it might prompt a few more, Joe. Yeah. Best BTFC player of all time discussed. Now there's a topic.
Wow.
Jeremy Lynch.
No chance. That was me. I was a name sub.
That's all you were.
Can you swaz a ball though, Rich?
Who's the best non-goalkeeper? Which man?
Officially, we think you hold the record for the most named sub never to have appeared for the club.
I know. Oh well, didn't have to pay a sub keeper, did they? Save some pennies.
That's right. Not enough for the Hall of Fame, though.
I think I was best half-time keeper.
Hang on. There you go.
Are you saying about how good the quality of the age range, like the youngsters are at the club at the moment? When I was down there, what day was it? Saturday morning. Was it Saturday or Sunday? The 18s played against Southend Manor. And that was a really good game of football. But it might have been on the Sunday. Oh, I can't remember. It was like the under 14s or something. There was a bit of a punch-up in the first half. That was quite entertaining. See that, the youngsters, especially one of them walking up to one of the opposition and punching him in the back of the head. It's destined for the first team.
It was quite a lively game, wasn't it?
It was. That was the one with the 6 foot 14-year-old playing up front for us.
Yeah. One of the things that does get me at that age is that the difference in size that maybe 6 months or 10 months can make. There are some giants and there are some tiny ones, all at the same age group. But it does make for some spicy games. That's under 18s with Southend Manor as well. That was something of a match, I think, wasn't it?
But they were, Southend Manor were quite a big side, quite a bulky side, and very physical. And obviously Billericay didn't match them in size, but footballing wise, they were the better side. It was a very entertaining match.
Yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed all the games I've watched down there. To be honest, it's just good to watch a game of football. Let's face it.
Wait till the first team are playing in December. It's freezing cold. You won't think that.
Yeah, you're probably
That's
right.
the best games. That's the best games.
You know what'll happen? Where there'll be no record low rainfall this season, but it'll snow every bloody month when games called off.
Well, that's when we can use a bunch of supporters just to clear the lines.
Yeah.
It's a sweeping job of that.
No. I don't think you bought a tractor so we can sweep the pitch.
Well,
get the facilities manager out there.
Well, mate, we've shifted enough snow off that boxy pitch over the years.
See the damage it's done.
Yeah, but there shouldn't be too many things that stop us playing on that pitch now.
I'm sure James will find something.
Well, I didn't need to. I've still got memories of a certain person, no longer with the club, who isn't the one you're thinking of, for going out with the pitch was frozen. He was run out there with a kettle of boiling water and pouring it in the goal mouth, thinking that was going to thaw the pitch out, rather than the fact the water was going to freeze.
Yeah,
that won't be happening
no
anymore.
longer with the club.
Yeah, that won't be happening anymore. Now it'd be good because there will be times where there are a lot of games called off. Hopefully, we'll be allowed more people in, so people will be coming down to Billericay as floating supporters or just ground hoppers. So gates will improve that little bit more because it's a game of football to watch.
Yeah,
which is exactly what we were doing at Averley. So.
We maybe take it off the gate of hours, but I can live with that.
Best player we've had recently was Paul Konchesky.
You are right, Joe, because we were using Averley for that. They made so much money during that period.
Especially cost me a fortune.
Yeah. Funnily enough, it cost us a fortune as well.
Maybe we should have ground shared with Grays this season.
That's a question for you. Is oh God, what's his name?
What's he look like?
David Gasol.
Ben's right-hand man. Is he?
Dan.
Oh, Dan.
Dan Groves.
Dan Groves. So Dan's not with us anymore. He's no argument or anything. But I think it's hard, if I'm honest, to go from the position of being effectively the one person running the club to having other people that are involved as well. And also, he wanted to get on and do his own thing. So no, Dan won't be around, but he's very welcome at any time, and I'm sure we'll see him at games.
Oh yeah, he's a nice bloke. He's a really nice bloke. He's like he obviously bent over backwards for Glenn, but and for the club.
Well, he obviously didn't bend over backwards for Dave. I think that was probably the issue, Joe.
That's Chris's job.
Hang on, Dave's come
Don't tell him
back.
I said that.
Sorry, Dave.
That's all right. Don't worry about it, Greg. All good. But at the end of the day, as you know, Dan was very, very good for the club over the years when he was working for Glen, but he wanted to do his own thing. And as you know, he's doing his oysters around basically beside the Conservative club. So, but he still basically may come back later dates. But at the moment now, the club's going well without him. But he is basically, if he does want to get back involved, then there's a conversation to be had later dates maybe.
He's not one of the catering options you were talking about, is he?
Maybe an option. I don't know if he's got his license yet for it, but it could be an option.
I've tried some of his shellfish. They're good.
Oh God, I can just see it now. We're going to be the new Dulwich, aren't we?
Yeah.
I don't know if you got the stink of rotting fish down here with the new Concord. Obviously, you would have to reduce the attendances, though.
Oh God.
Greg, Dave, I don't know. I know you touched on expanding the current changing rooms. I don't know if you've been to Bromley on their community pitch. They have their double-deck demountables as changing rooms.
Okay.
I don't know if there's room for that. I've been there obviously where I'm based. I've played football there, but they're using. I think they've got about 6 there that they have for their community pitches out the back of their main stadium, obviously, which is separate, same as what ours will be.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've got room around the perimeter or not for. anymore.
I don't think we've got. I mean, Dave's better to comment on this, but I don't know that there's necessarily room on the community site, is there, Dave? Unless it took up parking, that's the issue.
The biggest problem is, as you says, the park. The big problem is the car park, as you says. That's why we're talking about maybe moving the clubhouse and the extra changing rooms over behind the main building. But down the side, the left-hand side, it's very tight, restricted. But we might need that access for later dates. So I would like to have a look at them, but they've got it, Bromley. So I might look at that.
If I can get down there, I'll take some pictures and I'll get them across to someone.
Please,
so you can see what we've got.
Across this, give us an option. You've got to drive down there. We'll have a look, but. We are looking at different options at the moment because we know when the 2 pitches are going and the COVID's gone, we will need probably a good 6 to 68 changing rooms.
Yeah. I mean, at the moment, changing rooms aren't too much of an option because most of the time players can't use them anyway.
Yeah.
That's where we are at the moment. But at the end of the day, it's definitely something we're looking into. We're trying to basically get different options drawn up.
Have we redecorated the changing rooms?
It's gone from a 5-year-old's bedroom to about a 9-year-old's bedroom in their paint scheme, so it's a massive improvement.
Yeah, we have decorated them, so there are no lions or tigers or anything anymore.
Tigers.
It's all good in there now.
That's good.
So, Rich, we should get Jamie on in a minute. If you can keep an eye on for Jamie and Punch, let me know if they arrive, please, mate.
Yeah, will do. Yeah. So is Jamie going to be playing this season?
Well, that's a good question. Good question to ask him.
Yeah.
I've asked him the question, but I'll let you do it.
I'll ask him the question, but I suspect his answer is that he shouldn't need to, because.
Well, it'd be interesting to see if it's the same answer he gave me. He told me he was too fat. His exact words, not mine. His words.
Okay.
Mind you, when you got Conch showing you up, how good a shape is he in for his age?
Yeah, I know. He's like a couple of years younger than me. He weighs about half what I do.
I have to say, he's some kind of, and hopefully he'll join so he hears me saying this. He's some specimen, isn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, he still looks like he could play Premier League football.
Yeah.
Not just in terms of the shape he's in, but when he's out there on the pitch, it's just he's like a Rolls Royce just moving around.
Well, how often does he eat in that pie and mash shop? It can't be that often.
Yeah.
Well, either that or pie and mash is the new diet. Because,
well, we get Dan Groves down. Seafood might help you lose a bit of weight, mightn't it?
I'd say Conch definitely doesn't have 2 and 2, does he?
No, he doesn't.
What's happened to Dan Groves? Is he still about?
That first night he came into football club, I remember looking at him thinking, what the hell are you doing here? He was like, just health was just jumping off him. He's so healthy and fit. And I was going to take him home.
The Saturday morning fit club that's been set up, is that a club run scheme or is that run through the guys doing it themselves?
I don't know if Nick's still with us because he's the best person to answer that.
And is
you still here, Nick?
No, he was walking somewhere.
Oh, was he? Hopefully he didn't get mugged.
Gone to the pub.
No, it's run by the guys, but obviously we're involved in it. I don't honestly know the answer to your question, Rich, but what I do know is it looks really good. So I don't know if anybody on here has actually taken part, but
I guess you can just drop in. You don't sign up to whatever. You can just drop in. You don't know. Nothing.
Yeah, but looks really good. Looks like fun. Okay, so I'm now picturing them walking off the pitch. They've finished training. They've had a word with the guys. Kind of got them into a huddle.
Fine for being late, though.
Well, I think we might have to do that. Well, there is, they have those wheels, don't they, for
oh yeah.
fines. So maybe we should have a wheel and spin it when he arrives.
We have to put KK in charge of punishment.
We will. Right. Let me text him, see if we can get hold of him.
Yes, he has said, Greg, that he needs to make sure he gets the training finished first. So He'll be here as soon as he can.
Okay.
Joe, you still there? Yeah, no.
So what you
Hey.
what you expecting from
Greg,
Derby
I just spoke to
this season?
Greg, Greg, I just spoke to Jamie there. Can you send me across the link so I can forward it to him, please?
You want me to just text it to him?
Yeah, text him direct, please. Yeah. You ready? Come on.
So over the let's call it the closed season, with the games that have been happening and with the new clubs and people hiring the pitches, has the income in the bar been pretty good or pretty steady?
Alex?
Yeah, what we're starting to see down the club is from basically every day during the week from 5 to 11 o'clock, and at the weekend basically from 9 to 7 each day, is that we're building a community club. And yeah, over the course of it all, yeah, of course the income to the club is good behind the bar, but it's more important that it becomes what it should be, which is the hub that the facility gives to everyone.
I get that. I appreciate that, but I just mean in general, income-wise.
The support, Joe, the support from everyone around the club from all different areas, yeah, it's been brilliant, to be honest. With the restrictions that we've got, yeah, it's all good. And that's credit to everyone.
Cool, that's good. Cheers.
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, this was all about making the club self-sustaining, and particularly when the second pitch is up and running. We are a great fan base for drinking, so certainly partakings are good.
Do try.
And your efforts are appreciated.
Jamie's on now, Greg.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. O'Hara, are you with us? Ooh.
Apparently not.
Okay.
Oh, you can hear me. Is that better?
There he is.
Yeah, we've got you. We've got you.
How are we?
We're all right. We've been waiting for you, Joe.
Well, I have kind of got to do my job and train the boys.
Well, that's true. That's true. So how was training tonight?
Very good. Very good. The boys look great. Looking sharp. Looking forward to it now. We've been very good in pre-season, but just working on everything that we're trying to do with the players and the fitness levels and the way we want to do things this year. I think everyone can see that we're in a good position. So hopefully when the season starts on the 3rd, we'll be really raring to go.
And earlier on, we were talking about, as from our perspective, we're really excited about the group you've put together. How do you think kind of recruitment's gone?
I think the recruitment's been great. I mean, I have to say, I think it was really hard with the situation, to get a whole kind of new team together in a pandemic, with not being able to watch anyone, not be able to go and see players, not even be able to go and meet players. It was a really difficult situation, but I think we, the board, Conch and Craig, we all got together, had a list of players that we wanted in certain areas and certain places that we really felt we wanted to bring in that sort of quality in certain positions. And I think we've done really, really well as a club to put this squad together. I'm excited, quietly excited. I think we've got a very good squad, and I really think we can do something this year. I really do, but let's not tell anyone that yet.
No. So it's always wrong to mention individual players, but let's mention some individual players. Who's exciting you? Who's exciting you?
I mean, listen, I think the players that we've brought in, and Conch, and even Conch, he's obviously played at the highest level, is just impressed with all of them. I mean, listen, you got that Joe Felix, I think, that we signed from QPR has been a gem, an absolute gem to get him come in. He's completely transformed everything that we thought we were going to have. And to get a player like that for the money that we're paying him is incredible, you know. So very, very happy to have a player like him on board. Josh Hutchinson, for me, has been very, very good. Obviously, to come from the league below Potter's Bar, I know he played for Billericay sort of 5-6 years ago, but he obviously been playing in the league below, got 16 goals last season. But I've been really impressed with him. You know, I thought it was a bit of a battering ram, but he's actually a lot more than that. He's good on the ball, he works hard, and he can finish. He's a very good finisher. So gives us another dimension, obviously, up front when Jake decides that he can't be asked to run about.
and getting Michael Chambers back, retaining him for this season.
Yeah.
Huge. Yeah.
Absolutely mahoosive to get him back at the football club. Now, we were desperate to get him back in. And it was a tough one because a lot of teams wanted him. He obviously was waiting for the right, situation for his family because he's just become a dad, actually, today. So Michael James is a dad now. So he was obviously wanting the right place for his family and his future. And he wanted that place to be us. And everyone pulled together as the board were fantastic in being able to finally get him over the line because I know it was a tough one and I was squeezing every penny I could out of you, Greg, and all the other board members, but we managed to do it and managed to get into the budget that we've got, which is obviously, I think, a very good budget at this level, but it's a sustainable budget. And it's been fantastic to get that type of quality player.
And Laurie Wilson, is he the nicest gentleman in football?
He's a top lad. He's a top guy. I mean, he's and you know what I love about Laurie? He's a winner. You know, he knows he's a winner. He's fit. He's a leader. You know, last season, I have to say, it was a tough one for us, you know, coming in, new board members, having to get rid of loads of players. This season's been a complete clean slate for us. We've been able to build a team that we've wanted to build from the players that I've seen and the way I want to play and how we want to do things. And I think being able to bring in characters that we have, like Laurie Wilson, Jay Reason, Michael Chambers, Joe Felix, you know, Josh Hutchins. These are winners. These boys want to win. So, and I've always said to them, look, we're realistic. We're not going to be Barcelona, but we're going to be aggressive. We're going to be solid. We're going to be organised, and we're going to win games. And I think we've got that now with the quality that we've got and the characters that we've got. I think we've really done well. So it's just about keeping them fit, getting them ready, keeping them motivated to win games because it's going to be tough. Some good teams in our league and there's a lot of teams that have invested well. So it's going to be interesting to see how it starts.
And one of the things we were talking about before you joined us was how fit Conch is.
Yeah.
And, and whether he would be playing because he still looks like a Rolls Royce. Is he there with you?
He's in the room with me and he's shaking his head in disbelief that you're even questioning his fitness.
It wasn't me, Conch, I promise you. But
yeah, I mean, listen, for me, Conch has been an absolute breath of fresh air to have Conch in at the football club. He's an England football player, so to have someone like that come in and help with his knowledge, with Craig as well with the fitness, who's been absolutely different class. It's been absolutely gold dust to have these boys around the dressing room. And I think everyone has bought into it. As soon as all this new players come in and saw the staff that we've got, and I have to obviously thank you guys again for helping me get that squad together with the staff and stuff. And I think, yeah, Conch will definitely feature. I mean, I can't believe how fit he is. It makes me sick waking up every morning and looking at my derby, and then I look at Conch, who just doesn't even have to warm up and goes out, plays like a Rolls Royce. So he can definitely do my job for this season. That's for sure. He can play midfield. He can play left back. He can play centre half, and he can even play in goal if we need him.
So the last question, because nobody else dare ask you, is what are your plans for playing this season?
Absolutely no chance. No, listen. I mean, look, I miss it. I obviously love playing, but one, I don't think my knees can cope with that 3G, if I'm honest. But I think, yeah, if I'll work with Craig and do what I can to get some sort of fitness. If we're struggling, obviously, I'll get myself out there. But I think with the players that we've got and the group we've managed to put together, I genuinely don't think I'd get anywhere near this team. And the way I want them to play with the high press and the aggressive nature that we've got, I just don't think I'd be good enough or fit enough to play in the team. And, you know, I'm not going to put myself out there if I don't think I'd be good enough. So I'm really enjoying doing the managing. I'm really enjoying the philosophy of getting across what we want them to do. So if all goes well, hopefully I won't have to go out there.
All right. Thanks, mate. So let's open it up. And if anybody's got any questions for Jamie or indeed Conch, who's there with him, just
yeah,
shout.
Conch is here, and Craig's here. So if anyone wants to ask a question, fire away.
They'll take a minute and then they'll go for it.
It's all right.
Who's going first? If not, I'll just ask him questions. Just while people are thinking then, Jay. So I love saying the name Ruben Suarez Jr. Can't get enough of saying that. But looks a real prospect.
Yeah, very good prospects. I'm excited about Ruben. He's come from 2 leagues below, so excited about him. He's raw, but he's got ability and he's hungry. He's really hungry. He just wants to play, and we'll get him fit. We'll get him up to speed with some of the boys. Obviously, have been playing at this level for a long time. Just get his positioning right because he's a little bit all over the place because he's hungry to be everywhere. But when it's on the ball, he's got something about him, and we noticed that from the first day we brought him in. He can go both ways. He can use both feet. I didn't actually know what foot he was for 2 weeks, and that says to me that you've got a player on your hands. So really glad to get him on. I know a lot of teams in the league below wanted to sign him on decent money, but he wanted to play for us because he wanted the opportunity to work with me and Conch. So again, that was obviously a great one to have. We've done well.
Yeah, I love saying his name, but then when people ask where we got him from and you say Grays, doesn't bring that up, does it? Ruben Suarez Jr. from Grays. Folks,
there's a couple of questions here. There are a couple of questions. So can you still see me if I'm looking at the chat?
Yeah.
All right. So I'll obviously just listen. There's the question is, Jamie, have we got good defence and attack? Who are our main competitors? So in terms of main competitors, I mean, I think defence and attack, we're the team together, I think we've put is very good, and we've got good squad depth. Main competitors in the league for me, I'm not sure about the situation with Ebbsfleet. They potentially might be going back up into the National League because of Macclesfield's winding up order. So that's a little bit up in the air. I'm sure you will know more than me, but I would say Ebbsfleet, they're a full-time football team, paying a lot of money for players. Havant, obviously, another full-time football team. They're going to be a team to beat, in my opinion. They're going to be a top side again. Dartford, I think, have done well with who they've brought in. They've kept some good players. Dorking, who's a friend of mine, the owner. He's got a very good budget there. He's kept a lot of their squad from last season. So, they're ready to go again. They'll be there or thereabouts. Maidstone, they're 3 mornings a week. So I think what you'll find is that the teams that are full time, they're the teams you got to watch out for because they're getting to work with their players every day. So we've got to keep up with that, and that's why we've really pushed them in pre-season to make sure that we're up to their level in terms of fitness because they're getting 2 more days than us. But I think we've got better players. But it's going to be tough. I think there's 8 or 9 teams who could push for the playoffs. And it's going to be who gets on that good run and who gets that confidence going. But it's going to be a tough season, for sure.
Is it worth going professional to keep up with them? Greg, get it done.
No.
If I'm honest, no, I don't think you need to. Wildstone went up last season. They're part-time. The problem you have is the players that you can obviously then get, your circle becomes a lot smaller because at this level, people are part-time, they have jobs, so they like to train in the evenings, play on a Saturday, and then they go to work. If you're full-time, you need to pay full-time wages. So teams like Ebbsfleet and Havant have obviously got bigger budgets, but are still getting the same type of player, in my opinion. I don't think they're getting anything better or anything less, but they're having to pay more money because them players are full-time. So I don't necessarily think that is an option or needs to be done to get out of this league. If we went up, 100%, you have to be full time.
Jamie, anything on Michael Kitely, or was that just a thing of the past? You knew him.
Kite's come down. He's obviously a good friend of mine. I've played with him. He wanted to get fit again, but he lives in Birmingham, to be fair. And I had a good chat with him, and it wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have worked. We want to get boys who are local, and I thought he might have been living back in Essex, but he lived in Birmingham, so we kept him fit, ticked over, got him a few games. He signed for a team up in Birmingham, which is local to his house and his kids. So that was more one of doing him a favour as a friend of mine, and he wanted to get back in the game.
Yeah, he's Basden boy originally. I thought he might have moved back.
Yeah, that's why I thought. I know he's from Essex, so that's why I asked the question. I thought he might have been back down here, but he's not. He's actually still living in Birmingham, so it would never have worked.
Thanks, Jamie.
Okay, so there's the question about the keeper situation, Jay.
Yeah, so obviously Dion is. Sorry, Nige. Nige, go away. Pain in the arse, that kit, man, I tell you. Pain in the arse. So we've obviously signed Mason Brzezowski from QPR on loan. He's the under-23 goalkeeper for them. He's been training with their first team, so he hasn't been able to come out, but he trained for the first time tonight. Obviously, their season started, so they've been in a corona bubble. So he hasn't been able to leave, because once he leaves, he's not allowed to go back. But now their season started, the protocols have changed. So he's now training with us. He'll play on Saturday. And, you know, he's with us for a month. I'm not 100% sure on the loan, but it's a month. But obviously we can extend it as long as we want if he's doing well. For me, Dion, he's been absolutely brilliant. I mean, he's a brilliant keeper. He's actually got the same agent as me. He asked him to, obviously, if he could come in. He'd been released from Crystal Palace. Asked if he could come in and just train with us and keep himself fit until something come up, because a few clubs have wanted him. But he's loved it that much that he actually wants to stay. So I'll have to speak to the owners on that one. But for me, he's he's a fantastic keeper and a very, very good keeper for this level. So if we can make it work, I'm sure we'll do it. If we can't, then we'll keep him here as long as we can until another club obviously comes in. But we're in a good position keeper-wise, because Mason is very highly rated at QPR. He's 6'4", very good with his feet. He's strong, he's tall, he's commanding. He trained tonight, looked very, very good. So whatever happens, if we can have both, great. If we get one, we can work with that. So that's something we'll look at.
Thank you. Anybody got anything else? I think we're out of questions on the chat.
Do you want to know what happened? Do you want to know the situation with Jules? Because obviously he's a big player for the football club.
We did talk about it earlier, Joe. So
we have talked about it already. Let them know. Basically, what's the 23s, Jamie, and what do you think the future is? There's some good players you've used already.
Yeah, so I've been pleasantly surprised with some of the 23s. Jake Nicholas, the little lad who done the funny nose thing to Gerrard, is actually a very good player. He trains very well. He's intense. He wants to learn, ask questions all the time. Been very, very impressed with him. So he will definitely be involved. He will definitely play. Timmy's another one who's come from the 23s again. Has been decent. Needs to work. Needs to learn. You know, the men's game. And another one who I've just found. I don't know where Rob's been hiding him, but Jamie Drake. I think he's come from the under-18s. He was here at Bowers last season. He's come back with that under-18 squad. He played for us on Saturday, I think. He come on Saturday against Ipswich. Very impressed with him. Really liked him. He trained with us on a Thursday night because someone got injured, and I just shouted over to the 23s that I needed someone. Sent him over, and me and Conch obviously stood there, watched him, and straight away he knew what he was up to. His positioning was good. He was good on the ball. He was confident. He steamed into tackles. So straight away I said, mate, you're with us. You know, you give you an opportunity. You know, you look like you can handle it. He's obviously a young kid, so He's trained with us again tonight. He'll be involved on Saturday, and he's one that I've picked out already and gone. He's not bad. So I think that under-18 squad's got some good players. I've heard. Obviously, keeping an eye on them, and I know Rob has said that the under-18 boys that are now back are the ones who are looking decent. So listen, I don't care how old they are. If they're 15, 16, 18, whatever they are, if I think they're good enough, I'll give them an opportunity, and we will definitely need them this season with the amount of games we got.
Okay. Anybody else got anything?
Yeah, what's Doug Loft's involvement this year? I know last year he seemed to carry him quite a bit with injuries, but
yeah,
still looks like he can do a job for us.
Yeah, Dougie's obviously a big player for the football club, in my opinion. He's got great ability. Last season, as you're probably aware, we had a lot of dead wood. You know, we had to get rid of players. We had to bring players in. We were covering over the cracks a little bit, getting through the season. We all knew that, and it was about getting through. This season, there's no excuses. There's no excuses for me. There's no excuses for the players. And I've told them all straight of where we want to take this football club and what I expect of them. You know, I did my apprenticeship last year, and now this season's business. So I've said to Dougie, listen, get yourself fit. Make sure you're fit week in, week out. I'm not going to carry you. You know, and the teams are not going to carry you. You're going to play at the tempo that we want to play at. We want to play at the levels that we want to play at. And if you're not at them levels, you ain't going to play. So I ain't going to play no favourites this year. I ain't going to play no boys from last season who, you know, helped the club out for a situation. This is a clean slate for every single football player and every single person at this football club. And we want to go somewhere as a club. We want to go somewhere as a team. And I think we can do something. So if you're good enough, you're playing. If you're fit enough, you'll have a chance. If you're off it and you're lacklustre or you're not fit, you ain't getting in this team.
Okay.
So I'm fucked.
Yeah. Yeah. You know this is being recorded, don't you? Okay.
Have you done any training on grass just to remind the players what it's like?
You know what? I don't think it's like riding a bike, right? Playing on grass. I mean, you know, to have that 3G pitch has just been unbelievable. You know, we can do proper sessions. We can work on stuff properly, and you know, at the end of the day, it's not a massive difference. All the pitches are going to be good this season because everyone's had the chance to look after their pitch properly. So there's not going to be any bad pitches, in my opinion, in the league. So whether it's 3G or grass, there's no big difference. But I want to make our home ground our fortress. It's always been a fortress. Since I signed for this football club, no one likes coming to play at Billericay. So it was important for us to make sure that every player, one, gets used to playing on that pitch because your legs need to get used to it because it's different. But two, you know, just getting used to playing on 3G week in, week out, working on the way we want to do things was important for us. So I think now with that pitch and the facilities that we've got, we really want to make this place somewhere where people don't want to come.
I think people didn't want to go there because the pitch was so bloody awful.
That didn't help. That didn't help, but it made it harder for us. That was the problem. It ended up being harder for us. So, you know, I think now with what we've got and what we're doing, I think we've got a great chance. What will your playing style be? Do you want me to answer that question?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so as someone's asked, obviously, what will your playing style be this season? Play out from the back, mix things up a bit. So, playing style, I think, will be 4-2-3-1, predominantly. You know, with the back four that we've got with Chevron, Chambers, Ron Henry, Laurie Wilson, don't think it's going to be much better than that. We'll be squeezing the pitch as much as possible. Now, I want to play my front three. You know, will be high as possible, pressing from the front, high energy. The midfielders, you know, being aggressive, trying to nick things, you know, second balls. So what I've said to the boys is, with the quality that we've got in terms of the personnel that we've put together, I don't need to work on telling them how to play football because they're all good players. What I do need to work on is getting them organised and playing the way we want them to play. So the pressing situation, the energy of winning the ball back high up the pitch is something I massively want. We were too deep in so many games last season, And that's just not something that I'm going to do. So I've told them all pre-season that we're going to work on being high up the pitch, as high as possible. And if we get done one week where someone plays one over the top and he gets in and he beats the offside trap, then that's on me, because I've told them to do it. We're going to be squeezing the pitch as high as possible, and we're going to be boxing teams in. So expect us to have a really high line, because I was sick of seeing us sinking last season and defending our own 6-yard box. I don't want that this year. Don't want that. So we'll play. We'll try and play on that pitch. We'll have to play, but it's going to be more about winning the ball back when we give it away, because the ball turns over at this level so much. So it's going to be that aggressive, horrible nature of winning the ball back and then playing.
Good stuff. Okay, we've done 2 hours now. Jamie's joined us recently, but between us, we've done 2 hours. So unless anybody's got anything urgent, we'll call a halt there. Some of us, when you get to my age, your bladder only has a certain amount of time it can go, and we're beyond that now.
Past your bedtime as well.
It's past my bedtime, absolutely. Mug of Ovaltine and I'm gone. Right, I'd like to say thank you to Jamie for joining us after training, and Conch and Craig in there. Thanks, guys.
No worries.
Thanks to everybody who's joined in tonight. Love these sessions because it is a chance to talk and answer your questions and just keep everybody involved. So hopefully we'll see you all at the ground very soon. That's certainly our intention, and government restrictions and the National League permitting, that's going to happen from the start of October. So thank you very much, folks, and have a good evening for the rest of the evening. See you all soon. Take care.
Thanks, Greg. Keep safe.
Everyone.
Good night.
Right, good night, all.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.
Night.